A lot of planning goes into making the cities work at high speeds. We actually go to the real cities, we study the maps, we take lots and lots of photographs for texture map assets and reference, and then we actually lay out the cities in a crude form and drive them so that we make the street layouts not quite like they are in reality. We actually make the street layouts work for driving at high speed. In each city we create maybe 10 or 12 landmarks, maybe a dozen landmarks so that players can orient themselves. I mean, one of the big challenges of the open city is having the player know where they are at all times. We also take a lot of time to make different parts of each city look very different. So not only are the cities different cities, but within each city there are neighborhoods, and they are distinguished by their neighborhood characteristics, their layout, their color scheme, their lighting. So we use all those visual cues to help the player understand where they are at all times in the city. There are many design challenges associated with an open city plan racing game. The first one is, since we're trying to make speed part of the essence of this game, you also want to have a lot of wheel-to-wheel action, where a lot of the excitement comes in. The problem is, in an open city game, the players and the AI can go in many different directions. So the cities are designed to make the players come together. The races are designed to not frustrate the players and to help lead them through. So a good race is designed by placing checkpoints in intelligent places that present a challenge but also lead the player through an interesting route. One of the other big challenges of open city racing is that not only are you trying to make each race distinctive so that the player not only not feels frustrated, they feel they can actually get better and better as they play, but also throughout the whole game you want to have a progression of difficulty. So not only balancing the vehicles, but also balancing the city maps so that, say, LA is kind of wide open and lit nice and warm and inviting. Paris is a lot more technical. We have a lot more side streets and little alleys. And then Tokyo is all about speed. So at the end of the game, when you have the fastest cars, you have the city that has the most wide open spaces to roam in. So the player is constantly being challenged all on the way, and that challenge is a progressive one. In MC2, the style we're going for each city it's a kind of balance between an arcade racer and a simulation. So I think we're trying to get a realistic feel for the cities. Some people have called it hyper-realism. I like to use photo-surrealism because the speed is so warped in this game. But the idea is that it's a very realistic game where the cities are kind of caricatures of themselves. So you want to feel like you're in Paris, you want to feel like you're in LA, but you're not actually there. It'd be impossible to load that all into the computer at one time. So what we do is pick the distinctive characteristics of each city, and then we make sure that each city is distinctive from each other. So LA is kind of sunny, Paris is kind of gloomy, Tokyo is all neon and electric. So by making that distinction, the player can know where they are every time. They feel they're in an authentic city, but the city is designed to provide a kind of arcade experience where it's slightly more onto the fantasy side of realism. The city designs are huge, and they've been designed to really take advantage, maximize your driving experience. So there's a lot of also not only two-dimensional city map layouts, but three-dimensional stuff. So there's freeways, there are undergrounds. Altogether, there's probably over 80 kilometers of roads in each city, and probably each city has over a million polygons. So in terms of the player visual experience, you don't get a lot of repeat, and everywhere you go has a different appearance than the last place you were. So that all those things help the player identify where they are and lower the frustration level when you're trying to win a race. We're very familiar with the open city layout. The idea for this game, though, was to get a lot more realism and a lot more detail in the product. So we spent a lot of time optimizing our technology. The entire city is loaded in memory at once because with an open city plan, the players can go any direction they want at any time. So it's important that we are not busy loading up a certain section of town. We want you to go wherever you want, whenever you want. So we've been very, very efficient texture memory-wise and very, very efficient in terms of our polygon and our layouts so that we can show the greatest vistas with no pop-up, at the same time have a huge city accessible at any one time. The effects of having online in the game did affect the city planning quite a bit, in the sense that because we had no idea where each person would be, we had to have the entire city loaded at once in the game. So by virtue of having that happen, the online play can happen at 200 miles an hour, and the players can actually, across a phone line, can actually be racing neck and neck. And it's really, it's the most amazing feature of this game.